Hello and welcome to another episode of Transforming with Carol. My name is Carol Mushota. I'm a transformational speaker, writer and blogger, and movable optimist, and I'm here to help you become the best version of yourself in your personal life as well as your business. We're back at Meraki Cake Bar, right in the heart of Road Spark on Chaholi Road, a place of serenity, a place of goodness, wonderful cake and food for you and your family. Today we're going to be talking about the single parenthood of mothers. Today we're talking single moms. Today we're talking single parenthood, the life of a single mother. This topic is so broad, I didn't even know where to start from because it's something that I've been getting a lot of questions on. A lot of people have been inquiring on my social media pages, wanting to understand what is it that they can do, how do they get along with life after knowing that they're going to be parenting by themselves. And this is no bias to the fact that there are no single parents that are men out there, but we can't ignore the magnitude that single mothers are affected by, and that obviously begins with a lot of the wrong perception, the things that they've gone through, and obviously how society perceives them, and also their position in terms of how they want to be validated by society. Today I want to speak to you, single mom. You need to remember that this is not how you planned life to be, and bad things do happen, but everything always works out for the good, because if you can learn from every experience that you go through, it's so much easier to embrace the journey that you're on. And being a single parent comes with a lot of challenges. One thing is obviously having to tell people that you didn't plan for things to go this way. But one thing you need to do is sit down and actually accept the position that you're in. And just remember that at the end of the day, things will work out as long as you follow some of the tips that I'm going to share today. It's a very broad topic, but we'll speak more about it. Today, I just want to share a few things. Being a single parent begins with you accepting the position. It's also you accepting the fact that you're going to do this journey by yourself, but there are certain things that you have to put in place. And one of the things that you need to do is start by forgiving yourself. Start by forgiving yourself. Start by forgiving your partner. Because nobody wants things to end in a bad way. Nobody wants to end up being a single parenthood, a parent. But at the end of the day, the whole life of being a single parent comes with so much responsibility. But if you're not positioned in such a way that, you're not thinking about the future, it will be a journey of hurt. It will be a journey of pain. And this is something that I want to help you to not go on that journey. Number one, you have to start fighting with what people think of you and what they say of you. And that's something that, you cannot really control. What you need to do is just stay on your path and remember that at the end of the day, you need to be that good parent. You need to be that, wonderful mom to your children. Obviously, you will have your ups and downs, but you need to ensure that what you need is strength for each day. There's so many things that you need to put in place. You need to ensure that you now start to remember that there's a life or lives that are dependent on you. Yes, you have been given this responsibility, and most times single moms do choose to stay with the children because there is that bond that we cannot run away from. But you need to ensure that certain things are put in place. Number two is that you need to stop being lazy. Yes, the parent can be there, the father can be there, but you need to understand that reality comes into play. When it comes to a lot of, relationships that haven't worked out, we sort of want this position where, yes, we don't want harm's way to come into play, but we start being bitter, we start being resentful, we start, wanting to push people to the edge. Remember that any kind of support comes with the heart and not so much with the pain. If you can look to the heart of your ex, it's so much easier for the support to come. And also, what are you doing to propel yourself forward? If, let's say, your finances were always dependent on the other person, you need to start realizing that you need to get up on your feet and start doing something. So many times, single moms are hurting. So many times, single moms have been given the wrong perception. People have been speaking about them, and there's this notion that whenever they're with somebody else, they're only in it for the money. There is nothing wrong with having that financial support, because when somebody loves and when somebody cares for you, that will automatically come into play. But don't position yourself in such a way that you become, a leech, you become dependent on another person, because everything has to be of balance. Look to the skills that you have. You need to ensure that, the finances that you put into play, you start mapping out and reducing your expenses. You write down what it is that you need, with the new life that you've now come into. The pain will be there, the hurt will be there as you're writing down those numbers, is you're trying to, figure out, how did I get to this stage? Why are people saying all these things about me? What is it that, I want to achieve? But you need to remember that there's somebody out there who just wants your love. A child that's out there who doesn't understand the issues of finances. A child that's out there who doesn't understand, the fight or the difference that came into play or the position that you're in. A lot of, single moms worry and they ask themselves, what is going to become of my child? What am I going to, how am I going to help them in society? You can only do so much. Depending on even the kind of relationship that you had, if it's something that's coming from a negative background, that is not your responsibility. That responsibility will be upon the child when they grow up, and they'll be able to see those things by themselves. What you need to do is be the good parent for your child and just focus on what it is that you need to do, all the goodness that, you need to, give unto that child, because the child doesn't understand anything to do with finances, doesn't understand the hurt, doesn't understand the pain. So you need to position yourself and be firm about the things that you want, and also be firm about the position and the perception that you want people to see of you. Starting over in life, and especially when it comes to you having this foundation where you are stable, you need to make sure that at the end of the day you're also putting in that effort, you're putting in that commitment. If there are changes that need to be made, if there's support that needs to come into play, make sure that whoever offers that support, you are embracing it, and don't have a pity party. Don't have a pity party with everything that you've been through. It's okay to cry. It's okay to mourn. It's okay to go through those emotions. But once those emotions are done, you get up and you keep going. The next moment, the next day that you feel that you are going down and you cannot take, all the, the pain that is going through, whether it's being a single parent because of, a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship or a marriage that failed, at the end of the day, we cannot run away from the fact that a life was shared with other people. But in you trying to protect yourself, in you trying to protect, your family, you need to ensure that you don't do it in a selfish way. You don't, have issues of name calling. You don't have issues where you start to want to just bring out the negative aspects of the other person, but you start to embrace even the positivity that relationship came with, and start to look at the lessons that you can learn, so that we're not saying that everything is going to be set in stone, but you will find life, you will have another life if you want to, because everything is a decision that you make. But we cannot take baggage from this one relationship into the other. How are you growing? What are the things that you need to position yourself in? Start listening to the right things, start reading the right things, start going to places that embrace you, hang out with people that bring the goodness in you. Yes, it's okay to vent to some people, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure that it doesn't become, more so a burden. And make sure that even as you are going through that journey, you are not always sitting down and blaming yourself. Because sometimes, we take on other people's responsibilities and the things that they didn't do, and we start to put that blame on ourselves. Don't do that. Take responsibility and then take action for the things that need to be changed. Because society, we cannot, judge, or, we cannot be those people that validate and come to you and tell you this is how you should do things. We will only look at the things that you're giving us, the perception that you're giving us. But how are you positioning yourself? Don't worry so much about the validation that is outside. Don't worry so much about what people think of you. Don't worry if today you have to sell your house, if you have to move from the area that you are in, if you have to downgrade, if you have to change certain things about your life, because that is life. These things happen. But when when you go to bed at night and when you put your head on the pillow, it is only you who knows what you are going through. And if certain things have to change in life, it's only you who will make that decision. We can influence, we can speak to you, you can listen to this program, but if at the end of the day you do not know where to start, you do not know what to do, it's why life coaches like me are there, transformational speakers are there to speak into your life and to guide you, but the ultimate decision always comes from you. Being a single mother is not easy. Do not expect things to just change in a flash. They will not. Take each day as it comes. Embrace the pain, embrace the change, embrace the hurt, but don't stay down there for too long. There's a life that is ahead of you. There's a life that is waiting for you to be peaceful. And there's nothing wrong with you wanting, to protect the hive, to protect the children that you're with from, who is going to be in your ex-partner's life. That is their responsibility. What you need to know is my child safe in that environment? When they're with, their father, is everything going to be okay? Are they going to be catered for? How is the home environment? If those things line up and you are at peace with them, there is no need to be, one of those, crazy and, I don't know what, people are calling them these days, but a lot of people start calling single mothers psycho. Why? Because you start being paranoid, you start changing stuff and you want to impose certain things in a life that is no longer yours. Let the father be the father. Let him make the mistakes that need to be made. But as long as your children are not in harm's way, mind your business. The only time you should be concerned is if the people that their children are being surrounded by are not of good influence. If the things that the children are being exposed to are fundamentals and non-negotiables in your life that even your partner knew in your previous relationship. Do not involve yourself in things that are not, part of yours to be for the taking, so to speak. You are not, a decision maker in the new relationship. You are not a decision maker in the new marriage. You are not a decision maker in the new life that has gone ahead. When it comes to you protecting your children and you wanting to make a decision, remember, let the father be the father. Let the mistakes be made by that, by the father. Let every lesson that the children, will come across in life, let it come out naturally. Do not impose. Mind your own business. Unless at the end of the day, the environment that the children have been exposed to, the things that they've been exposed to, the people that they've been exposed to, their environment is going to affect your children. That is the only time that you should actually impose yourself. But otherwise, you mind your own business and you stay in your lane and you work on yourself, on becoming a better parent for your children. Because remember, children are not concerned about the monetary aspects. They're not concerned about the arguments that you had. They're not concerned about, the home that they stay in. What they're concerned about is the heart, the love that they are given. That is what the children want, and that is what ultimately will remain in their mind as a foundation for them to get started. Because a lot of single mothers worry, what will my child be like in society? What are the things that they're going to be saying? The influence will only come from you. The influence will come from what they are exposed to. So this is, very much a broad topic, and there's so much that can be said. It's a totally, whole season on its own. But the key thing is to remember, number one, forgive yourself, accept the position you're in, start to make changes, be responsible for your life, financially start changing things and position yourself in such a way that you are being empowered. There's so many things out there that you can do, from, your personal development to, support groups, to support people, and also just guarding yourself. If you're going through a season where you need to heal, a season where you need to be, you need to understand why certain things happened, it's okay to take a step back and not necessarily be out there. Because if you're going to try and be superficial, if you're going to try and be validated by society, because society will always have an opinion, but it doesn't have to stick. So I hope that this episode has helped a single mother out there. This is just the beginning. There's so much that can be said on it, but we need to come from a place of healing. Don't forget, as I say, to subscribe to the website. It's www.caromushotatv.com. Follow me on Facebook at Caro Mushota Transformation TV. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.